Welcome back. Now, gelatin. I often get asked why I recommend gelatin. In my programs, I've got a program called Fast Track to Health, and I recommend everyone go on gelatin. And there's a few good reasons, and I'll just go over a few of them. So, when I was starting out with my program Fast Track to Health, I noticed that people did the detox phase really, really well and started feeling really good, lost a lot of weight, just generally feeling really good. And then when they got to phase 2, I noticed that they started to put weight back on and not feel as good as what they were feeling. And so I worked out that it was basically adrenal and thyroid health and how their bodies just weren't coping hormonally. They were out of balance. They were going back out of balance quite rapidly. And so I wanted to find foods that would support that. And it kept on popping up as I was doing research was beef bone broth. And I know that I personally would never do beef bone broth on a daily basis. So, of course, beef bone broth, the really healthy component of it is the gelatin part. And so I thought, right, okay, we could incorporate gelatin into our programs. And so I've incorporated gelatin into the phase 1, the detox phase of the program, as well as phase 2, because the health benefits are so vast. In the documents, you've got much more blurb about this, but it's really important that we understand why gelatin and the actual quality of the gelatin has to be really good. So, first things first, why use gelatin? Apart from thyroid and adrenal health, it's really good for hair, skin, nails. It helps with collagen. So it helps with your collagen, the filler that's in between the skin and the in between all the cells of the skin and all that sort of stuff. Really good for joints and hair and so many different things for the collagen. It's also high in proteins. The only proviso is if you're a herpes sufferer, and I know some of you may be, is if you've suffered from herpes and there's genital or the cold sores, if you're a herpes sufferer and you use gelatin regularly, it's a good idea to supplement with lysine. If you're not sure, let me know and we'll go over it. And so, but there's so many pros to gelatin that it's so a really, really wonderful health supplement that you can get and use easily. Now, the quality of the product's really important. It must be beef bone gelatin and it must be grass-fed animals. Because otherwise, if it's from non-beef, you don't have the real huge benefits, because gelatin created from, say, horses' hooves and donkey pelts and that sort of thing is not beneficial for us. Yes, it solidifies things, but it doesn't give us the health benefits that we need. So what you're wanting is grass-fed beef bone gelatin without sulfates. Now, the normal packet ones you get from the supermarket, I was trying to make it so that this program you could buy everything from the supermarket. This one you can't yet. It will happen. So beef bone gelatin, no sulfates. And sulfates, of course, sulfur dioxide, preservative. Not sure why they use it in gelatin because they don't need it. And so basically don't get the one with sulfates in, or could contain sulfates, because you know it's going to contain sulfates if it says there. So there's suppliers that we're going to list here for you and where you can get it from. So it's really beneficial. I normally recommend 2 dessert spoons a day for an adult. For a child, it's a dessert spoon. Or you can have more. It's good for digestive health too. So if you have gastric problems, it's really soft on the body and it's good nutrition. So if someone's convalescing, that's why we had jelly. When you were a kid, they gave you jelly. That's the reason why, because you're actually getting nutrients from it. I'm not recommending the packets of Jello or whatever that have all of those E numbers and flavourings and things that we talked about yesterday and the day before. It's really important that we look at what's in the flavourings. When it says natural flavourings, what does that really mean? because there's lots of things that are natural that aren't good for us. So what I recommend with gelatin is making your own jelly. If you like wobbly stuff, then great. Add strawberries or lemon juice or orange juice if you're okay with oranges. Or not pineapple. Pineapple doesn't work. It doesn't set properly if it's real pineapple because the enzymes in it affect the setting. Interesting, eh? Anyway, so any other fruit really, and just have a play with it. What you need is the gelatin in a pan. Boil some water. Let it cool down for about 10 minutes. Pour some over, melt it down, and then add whatever you want to it. I personally don't like wibbly wobbly jelly. I like chewy stuff. So what I do is I do the same, but I add less water and just enough to melt it, and then I add lemon juice and some stevia and make it so it's chewy. So it's like chewy jellies. Or you can make Turkish delight, so with rose water and again stevia. You notice I'm not saying sugar. That's another subject tomorrow. So it's really important that we start adding things in to our diet. I hate the word diet, into our food regime that's healthy and that tastes good, and it replaces other things that we see as treats. And so it's a really good way of adding in to our family's regime, and they don't notice actually that it's really healthy for them, and we know we're all benefiting from. So, by the way, gelatin can also help when you get it in this form with maybe a bit of lemon juice and stevia is really good for help stabilizing blood sugars. And so, isn't that fun? Okay, tomorrow then, I'm not going to tell you what we're doing tomorrow, but basically we're going to have a look at sugar. Okay, so have a magnificent, magical day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And don't forget to post in Facebook what you've been up to. And if you're struggling with anything, because that's what we're here for, is to support you through this. Okay, have a magical day. Lots of love. Bye.